Marksman is a class that has recently caught my eye, not only because of the overpowered nature of sniper rifles, but because I don't see him being talked about much in mainstream TC2 YouTube, especially compared to other classes like the Agent, Trooper, and Annihilator. However, Marksman is a very interesting class, which seems like a weird thing to say because this may seem quite monotonous, but there is a lot more under the hood. I'd say there are two main ways to play Marksman: the boring, staying in the backlines trying to snipe the enemy, and the fun, where you stay near the front mid lines actively participating in combat. The boring playstyle is what Marksman is designed for, keeping enemies off the objective and picking them off from a distance. It's what the stock weapon is mainly for, but see, that doesn't tickle my dopamine receptors enough.
Big cheese, got out of my jacket. Work hard, now I'm changing my bracket. Talk tough, we ain't in that racket. Guys came in, you know how to stack it. Take it wrong, but I'ma need my ends though. I got tigers on my chest like Kenzo. Real Kim, you ain't putting that best though. Cows here, man, you know stay.
First, let's talk about the balancing of Marksman, because that's a difficult tightrope. The first thing is the new recent summer update Marksman patch. Marksman was, and still is, one of the classes that I complain most about the community. The developers decided to act, and add a laser sightline, so pre-aiming and knowing the location of the marksman that is aiming down sights would be easier to detect. However, the laser sightline was added all the way back in Fitmas 2021, but got removed in the summer 2022 update, and then was brought back in the summer 2023 update? I don't know why they kept adding and removing it, just don't ask. Another thing that the TC2 devs couldn't settle on was base damage for the stock sniper rifle. Marksman used to deal 150 damage on headshot back in the day, where I didn't play. But just to make it fair, the damage was reduced to 135 because with 150, it was possible to take down 5 out of the 9 classes. Even a mechanic holding the old version of the gunslinger, which would give 25 more HP, so 150 in total, would not survive one single headshot from the absolute sigma called Marksman. The full charge was even worse with this damage. It was so devastating, it could deal a whopping 500 damage on head. Essentially, they were forced to reduce the damage to 135, which is still devastating to this day. On full charge, you deal 450 damage, which is enough to take down every class. But when the summer update 2022 dropped, a small change was made that caused marksman mains all over to foam at the mouth. Marksman no longer did 135 damage, instead dealt a comparatively petty 108 damage on headshots. Let me explain. You have a small chance, not sure about the probability, that you can deal minus 20% less damage, so 108 on the head, kinda like if you are under 20 studs. Like the weapon description says, but at long range. That chance increased the survivability of light classes a lot. On head, it deals 360, which is enough for an overhealed brute to survive, of course. But if you ever see a disturbing, frustrating 108 damage upon a headshot, consider yourself unlucky. Now, let's get back to the fun and boring playstyle. This is the fun playstyle. We'll get to that later. Let's quickly skim through the boring. The boring playstyle is the conventional way to play Marksman. Pretty much staying in a specific area of the map while occasionally moving to not get sniped by fellow marksmen, getting backstabbed by a random agent, or killed by a random flanker. There are a lot of reasons to move around a bit. However, this playstyle may be effective, but unless you hate yourself, it's not very fun. So, let's get into the fun stuff. Let's get into the main idea of the fun playstyle is to play more aggressively. You can use any conventional rifle you want, though it better be stock or efficient eliminator. It's quite simply staying near their front lines. Honestly, this is already more fun, but you still haven't unlocked Marksman's true potential. The Fun Playstyle has a few things, starting off with... The name itself is self-explanatory. You take the Marksman, charge at the front lines, and pray to God your shots hit. It's so damn frustrating when your arrow just fades out of reality, but when you hear that kill sound and see those numbers, dopamine just rushes to your head.
I like to be educated, but I'm so frustrated. Hello to my loneliness. I guess that ignorance is bliss. Take me back to before I knew. Rewind, take it out of cue. Innocence can be a young man's game.
Okay, this is the CSGO strat. Abuse the new movement system while using the Poacher's Pride in 50 AE. The Poacher's Pride is a weapon I've not shown much love to, but recently it got wildly buffed. It's really easy to 2-shot A of the 9 classes, and if you miss the second shot, use the 50 AE, or at least attempt to. This strat is just amazing, especially if you use the Campus Climber. If you use this item's ability to fling yourself into the air, 360, and hit an enemy, it rushes dopamine to your brain, acting like 10 hours of a Mr. Beast video compressed into 1 second, and it's so damn cool. Gimmicky loadouts are amazing on Marksman, especially with this one weapon, being the Lemon Blade. This weapon has one stat, which is crucial. That stat is crits whenever it would normally crit. And there are a lot of ways to get crits on Marksman. For one, it's with the Suppressed Solution. The Suppressed Solution is an SMG for Marksman that grants you 8 seconds of melee crits after dealing 80 damage. Though I'm not exactly sure about that number, I'm assuming it's about that. Combined with the Lemon Blade, it's kind of good. Same with the Lemonade, which acts like a grenade, covering anyone you hit with Lemonade, making you deal 100% mini crits against them. However, there is one more thing where you can guarantee 100% crits with the Lemon Blade. First, equip the Razorback. This makes the Marksman unable to build overheal while being healed. Now, have a Doctor pocketing you, but it has to be with the Blood Doctor, because it builds supercharge on non-overhealed patients, especially fast. This means you can have a supercharge very often. The supercharge on Blood Doctor is mini crits, so that means, well, death. I've previously said Marksman doesn't belong in the game, which I still believe is somewhat true, but with the reintroduction to the fun side of Marksman, I think it's actually one of the most fitting classes to TC2. It still gets repetitive, but we can all agree hitting this is much more rewarding than just harassing a poor brute who thought it was the arrow keys to move. Overall, I'd simply say Marksman is like an onion. It has many layers, and dying too much against him will make you cry. And with that, subscribe, turn the notification bell on, and goodbye!